right, guys, today I'm going to be showing you how to draw an item from observation. Now, I'm going to be drawing my sunglasses, and I want to make sure that they are positioned the way that I want them and that I can see them from where I'm drawing. I also want to be able to see a little bit of a shadow. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to break down your shapes. So when I am looking at my sunglasses, I can see that I have, look, I'm doing nice, light, sketchy lines. I have the main line at the top. I have both lenses that come down, a little bit of an angle. I have an actual arm that looks like it comes through back here, and one that comes down and back there. So these are just my rough shapes, and that's what you want to do. Step one is find those rough shapes. Then you want to go in and you want to start to define your line. So I'm going to start with this line in the center. I can see that it dips down, and then it comes back up, and I come out to the side here. Notice when I define my line is a little bit darker. And I'm figuring out where these shapes go. Now, my glasses aren't quite like this rectangle. Instead, it comes down, it smooths out, and it smooths out on this side too. So I'm really looking at my glasses and following the shape of those glasses, my contour line. And there we go. That's just the start of my glasses. I also have these lines in the center here. I have my frame, which isn't that thick. There we go. I'll smooth it out. That goes all the way around and comes up to the top. So I'm really finding those shapes. I can always go back and erase these sketchy lines. I'm gonna again go ahead and do this frame, make it as thin as the other one, following the shape of my glasses all the way over. So now that I have the basic shape of my glasses, I can now start to actually work on these arms that go back. It actually goes through the glasses and peeks out of the side a little bit. So mine, I can actually see some of that detail. This one back here is hard because it's a little bit of foreshortening. So it gets a little skinny at the top, the way that it goes back. So now that I have roughly found my shapes, I've defined my lines, now I can start to add details. So I have a little bit of an accent mark right here. And for me, that's about all I have for those details. Now I can go in and I can start adding value. So I can see that inside my glasses are a little bit darker. So I'm going to start to add in where those lenses are. Now my whole glasses are black, which is a good thing and a bad thing. But because my lighting is really good, I can see where my highlights are. So I can see that it gets a little bit darker in here. And I can blend that out with my pencil. Now, I'm not looking for perfection, but I am looking to see that you've defined your shapes, you've defined your lines, and then you started going in and actually adding some of that detail. So I actually have a little bit of a shadow coming off here, and what looks like here, and a little bit of a shadow running through there. So I'm going to go ahead and make that cast shadow a little bit darker. Now my lighting's not extreme, so it's not going to be super dark, but I can really start bringing this to life. By adding this cast shadow, it really starts to show that this is seated on something, that it's not just floating on my paper. You can see that my shadow's a little bit darker when it's not going through my actual glasses. So this one's going to get a little bit darker too. This has a little bit of a shadow, but not as much. So now I'm starting to add those values in. So now I can come in and I can start adding a little bit more value to my actual glasses. So I see that I have a highlight going around this. So I'm going to leave a little white part for where that highlight is. My highlight shifts to the outside when I get over to this side. So again, I'm really looking at my object as I'm drawing it, and I have almost no highlight on the bottom to see where those light marks are. In the center, it's actually darker, and it gets lighter on the side. And then I can do the same thing. So it's very similar on this side where I have the highlight at the bottom. So I'm leaving that white part. It's very dark over here. Darkness falling to that outside. And down around the bottom. Now almost all of this back here is dark. So I can go ahead and start coloring that in. Now I'm doing this quicker than you guys should, so I am really filling my areas, but it's still a little sketchy, and that's okay. I can come in and I can fill this in because I want my arm to look the same as it goes back. And then even here, I can see a little bit of a highlight on the top, and it starts to fill in. So I'm really starting to fill in this arm that's coming back also. And that is how you draw an item.